This unit is on World War II for a 10th grade world history class. It will place a major focus on the Holocaust. The reading standards for this unit are for students to be able to cite specific textual evidence and analyze in detail a series of events. For writing standards, students will be able to write informative or explanatory text. All 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy are used in this lesson. Students will remember, understand, apply, analyze, and be able to evaluate and create by the end of the unit. Howard-Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence is also applied into this unit. Technology is used in this unit in order to enforce the multiple intelligences. Lesson 1 consists of 2 days. The multiple intelligences targeted in this lesson are musical, intrapersonal, interpersonal, visual, kinesthetic, and verbal. On the first day, students will respond to the music playing in the classroom by using a blog template. On the next day, students will access the class's Facebook page and respond to the teacher's post. Students will also use MindMaster to create a mind map for the notes presented by the teacher. They will have to add notes to another classmate's mind map. Lesson 2 consists of 5 days. It targets all 8 of the multiple intelligences. The teacher will have a map displayed on the smartboard demonstrating the Allies and Axis powers during World War II. The teacher will then present a PowerPoint presentation and then divide the students into groups of 4 or more. The students will have to use an online map to label the Allies and Axis powers. On the next day, students will take notes on the iPads using the application pages. After the discussion by the teacher is over, students will get together in a group and create an Animoto video. They will gather images for their Animoto video using Flickr. These pictures have to show the geographic factors affecting the Allies and Axis powers. On the 3rd day of this lesson, students will use iMovie in order to respond to images presented by the teacher. The students will then be divided into groups of 4 or more and will have to categorize what factors affected what country the most using a template from Numbers. Students will come into the classroom the next day with the word cloud discussing the Yalta Conference on the board. The teacher will use Keynote in order to present information of several other conferences during World War II. The students will be given an assignment to discuss the Yalta Conference in the form of the skit. Students will use Google in order to support the notes given by the teacher. The class will have the remainder of the day to create the skit. Students will come in the next day and present their skit for class. Students will then use voice recording on the iPads to discuss what they learned from these skits they created. Lesson 3 of this unit consists of 3 days. The multiple intelligences targeted in this lesson are logical, visual, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and verbal. On the first day of this lesson, students will walk into the classroom with images of political leaders displayed. Students will do a gallery walk and have to take notes using a layout from Pages. The teacher will then use Haiku Deck to present the political leaders featured on the gallery walk. Students will use word clouds from abc.com to create word clouds on the different political leaders. On the next day, students will walk into the classroom and create a poem about the political leaders. They will then record their poem onto AutoRap and create a rap. Once they are completed with their rap, they are to create a lyric video and upload it to YouTube. Students will have time to answer questions after the presentations are over. Once all completed with the presentation, students will use the application paper. They will have only one word to describe what they learned from the political leaders of World War II. The last lesson of this unit consists of 5 days. This lesson targets all 8 of the multiple intelligences. Students will have to respond to this clip of Hitler's speeches on the class's Facebook page. The teacher will then divide the students into groups of 4 or more. These will be their groups for their final project. Students will use Pinterest in order to look up images. They will have to save it onto Google Drive. Students will come into class and respond to a Google Plus post in regards to the video presented by the teacher using the Shoah Foundation. This video will be of a survivor of the Holocaust. The rest of the lesson, students will have to use their time in order to create a digital brochure. This digital brochure will focus on the entire unit. This brochure should focus on the Holocaust. For most of the lessons remaining in the unit, students will use their time in order to gather images and create their brochure. The teacher will project the guidelines to the digital brochure onto the screen. Students can reference it throughout the rest of the lessons. On the last day of the unit, the students will present their digital brochure to the class. As closures, the teacher will discuss the horrific events of the Holocaust and will make comparisons to events going on today.